All right, let's jump right in. We are tackling a true giant of world literature today, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust. And look, this is so much more than just a play. It's a life's work. I mean, it took Goethe 60 years to complete it. He poured a lifetime of thought into this thing, about the human soul, our restless ambition, and what it truly means to be alive. We're really going to zero in on the story, its absolutely staggering outcome, and why it's still so important.
And this is where we start, right in the thick of it. We meet our hero, the brilliant Dr. Faust, who is at the absolute peak of his knowledge and the absolute bottom of his despair. This is a guy who's mastered everything: philosophy, medicine, law, even theology. But all that learning has led him to one single crushing realization. He knows nothing that actually matters. This isn't just frustration you're hearing, it's the sound of a soul on fire.
You could almost call it the ultimate case of cosmic burnout, right? Faust has all the facts, but he feels nothing. He is drowning in information but is completely starved for genuine meaning. He just wants to break free from dusty old books and actually feel the world. And it's this deep, deep desperation for a real, unfiltered experience that ends up knocking on his door in a very dangerous form.
Now here's something really cool that a lot of people miss. There are actually two different bets that drive this entire story. The first one happens way up in the heavens. It's this big, cosmic wager between God and the demon Mephistopheles. God basically bets that his guy Faust will never truly be corrupted. But then there's the second, much more famous pact, and this one's down on Earth. It's the personal deal between Faust and that very same demon. And that's the one that really sets the whole story in motion. Okay, so let's get into the fine print of their deal, because this is crucial. This isn't your simple sell your soul for money and power kind of thing. Nope. Faust makes a way more interesting bet. He wagers his eternal soul that Mephistopheles can't provide him with a single moment, just one moment, of experience so beautiful, so perfect, that he would actually want to stop time and say, "Stay a while, you are so fair." If the devil can make that happen, he wins. The game is on.
So we move into part one of the play, and we immediately see the devastating consequences of this deal. Faust's epic quest for the ultimate experience doesn't start with some grand cosmic journey. Oh no, it starts right here on the ground, with human desire and with the tragic story of an innocent young woman who gets caught in the gears of his ambition.
And this just lays out the human cost so brutally. First, using Mephistopheles' dark magic, Faust seduces the young innocent Gretchen. But this isn't some whirlwind romance. It's a complete catastrophe. Their affair directly causes the deaths of her mother, her brother, and even her own child. In the end, Gretchen, driven completely mad by grief, is thrown in prison and condemned. She is the first and maybe the most heartbreaking victim of Faust's selfish quest.
So yeah, part one is this really intense, personal, almost claustrophobic Gothic tragedy. It's dark, it's intimate, and it is just gut-wrenching. But just when you think you've got a handle on the story, Goethe basically rips up the map and starts over.
After what happens to Gretchen, the play just explodes. Part two is a completely different beast. It sheds that intimate personal drama and just launches into this wild, mythic, sprawling journey across all of Western civilization. It's a total game changer.
So, we are completely torn away from the dark corners of Faust's study and the quiet streets of Gretchen's little town.
And we're thrown headfirst into this massive, kaleidoscopic epic. It's a whirlwind of mythology, politics, art, and economics. Part two can be really challenging to read, I'll admit, but it's where Goethe grapples with the biggest questions of all about society and power.
And what a ride it is! Seriously, in part two, Faust goes to a massive party with ancient Greek monsters, helps create an artificial man in a test tube, summons Helen of Troy from the dead, and has a kid with her, invents paper money to bail out an emperor, and even leads armies in a huge war. It is an absolutely wild tour of human history and myth.
And you always have to remember this number, 60. 60 years. This play wasn't just written, it was lived. That massive shift between part one and part two, it reflects the decades of change in Goethe's own thinking. He started this as a young, fiery writer and finished it as an old master. The whole play contains that entire lifetime of evolution.
And all of this brings us to the grand finale. After all of it, the love, the tragedy, the magic, the power, the wars, all of it, we finally arrive at the last moment. The bet is about to be decided. So what is the final verdict on Dr. Faust's soul?
So this is it. The big question. After experiencing pretty much everything a human being can possibly experience, from the deepest guilt to the highest forms of power, does Mephistopheles ever win? Does Faust ever find that one perfect moment of bliss that will cost him his soul? It turns out, in the end, as a very old blind man, Faust has a vision, and it's not of past glory or some selfish pleasure. No, his moment of ultimate happiness, the one he wants to last forever, is a vision of the future. It's the idea of draining a swamp to create new land for a free and hard-working people. It's a vision of creation, not consumption. And in that very moment, he dies.
Mephistopheles, of course, rushes in to grab his prize, but he's too late. A choir of angels descends and swoops Faust's soul away, carrying it up to heaven. And this is the reason why. The angels declare that despite all his terrible sins, Faust can be redeemed because he never ever stopped striving.
And that right there is the philosophical core of this entire work. For Goethe, salvation isn't really about being good. It's about being in motion. It's about the struggle. Our value is found in our relentless, untamed, ever-forward drive. I mean, Faust's crimes were horrific, absolutely. But his desire to learn, to build, to become more, that was even greater. And in the end, that is what redeems him.
And the legacy of this idea is just immense. Faust isn't just a book on a shelf, it's a foundational text of our culture. It's inspired operas, symphonies, poems, you name it. The character of Faust himself has become the ultimate symbol for that modern, restless human spirit. Always reaching, always wanting more, always pushing past our limits.
So that leaves us with one last, mind-bending thought to take away. If the endless struggle is the very thing that makes us worthy of salvation, what does that say about finding peace? Think about it. In Faust's world, to actually get that one perfect moment of contentment, the very thing he was searching for, would have literally damned his soul for eternity. So the question becomes, is our restless, often painful pursuit of more the very thing that makes us human?